button's a little bit hard to hit with these big ass gloves on. You guys have seen this one before, but never in this form. And if you were one of our patrons on Patreon, you guys got to see an exclusive video for when this gun came back from Atlas. I had some work done on it. For those of you who are not familiar, this is an M85 NP that has been converted to a short barrel rifle. It is chambered in 5.56, and we're shooting our standard Fiocchi 223A here. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and added the Yugo Midwest Industries Optics Ready rail on there. I couldn't get one of these for the longest time, and now they are back in stock. So if you guys are looking for something for your Yugo pattern, or maybe just your AKM, there are rails available from Midwest. And what's cool about this is it mounts that optic low enough that, and let me see, this gives a lower third co-witness. So it is low enough that it gives you a lower third co-witness. You can still use your iron sights if you care to. I have a Primary Arms microdot mounted up there on the front. But what we're out here to do today is I just installed this rail, and I'm doing a 0/function check of this gun because you know, this is the first time I've shot it since I threw it on there. And sometimes if you add rails, they can screw up the angle of your gas tube and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that after you pop a rail on, you go ahead and check 0 on that sucker. I will apologize if you guys hear some wind noise. It is whipping about 25 miles per hour here today on Ice Planet Hoth in the middle of February. I do have the proper equipment, but sometimes the wind can overpower the windshield and it bleeds through anyway. I'll do my best to clean up in post. Oh, come on, dude. Woo! That's cold. Holy crap. About 10 degrees today. So where are all the other gun channels at? Out here in 25 mile per hour wind, 10 degrees. I don't see anybody else out here doing this kind of stuff. Committed to you guys. That's what it's all about. Regardless, we're out here, and I have a full video on how to install the AK-47 rail from Midwest Industries. This is the M-LOK version. 2 deviations from that video, which I will have linked below, is that this is the short rail, which does not require you to cut the front block right here. If you want the extended rail, you have to get some stuff out of the way because they made it low profile enough that it's not going to be a huge bulky rail. So that's just a compromise that you have to make. And the other one is that this rail is designed to work with the stock gas tube. And if you were one of our patrons on Patreon, you recently saw a quickie on how to remove the Yugo handguard. Super easy. It doesn't require any gnashing and beating of things. So let's do another magazine. This is an ETS mag. We'll see how this thing works. I'm doing a couple tests here today. We did 0, we're going to do function check right here, and we're also running through some rounds for another test that you guys will be seeing here pretty soon, and hopefully it'll change some minds about how AK should be tested as far as standard testing across the industry. So here we go. I'm just going to dump it in the berm, see if she runs. And she ran all the way. Again, the magazine release is just a little bit small for these big honking gloves and these meat hooks. And one more change that I made from the last video that was published on Patreon, and I'm not sure this will show up, but I'll throw a close-up in there if it doesn't, is I changed this to the Sentry Rak Trigger because it had some crappy commie trigger in this gun, stock, and it was doing, I'm not sure if there's a technical term for this, but I'm gonna call it slip fire, which is when the safety slips past the plane of the top cover. If I can get this to do it. Here, I'll just force it. Like that. The commie trigger in some guns will cause the hammer to fall, which will cause a negligent discharge. That's bad, right? You want to turn on the safety and the hammer falls. And some people will be like, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal. Well, yeah, actually it is a big deal. Oh, I want to put it on safe. Oh, wow, that's bad, isn't it? AKs are not supposed to do that. That you're not supposed to be able to throw your safety on and go past the dust cover. You should check your gun to see if it will do this. It's pretty much indicative of a couple different things. Either your safety leather is too loose, the firearm was not assembled properly, or perhaps the dust cover was machined improperly. And that can happen for a variety of reasons, including, for instance, this is a Yugo, which means it's deviated quite a bit from the AKM spec. You can see that with the folding dust cover, things like that. But one of the other problems, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but one of the other problems is that usually AKs are supposed to be sharp right here. And that's why we rack the AK with our hand, the meat of our hand facing away from the charging handle, because they're sharp there and they will cut you. And the reason they are sharp there is there's usually a piece of metal that juts out that actually stops the cover or the safety from clearing the top cover. But as you can see, if I hit this fast enough, hard enough, it will skip past that dust cover. And it's not supposed to do that. But again, Yugo gun, not properly done, because one day Maj and Vlado decided that they wanted to be different from the rest of the Soviets and do some weird stuff to their gun instead of what the Russians were doing at the time. So let's see what else we got here. What other magazines we got? Oh, okay, we have a Hex Mag, right? You guys have seen these ones before. Again, loaded with the Fiocchi 223A, the 55 grain stuff, which is what we like to shoot. See if she'll run. Get it from this angle here. That's interesting. Bolt stayed open on the Hex Mag, and it will drop when that happens, or when I pull it out. So that's interesting. I wonder if it'll do that. Huh, that's neat. So on the Hex Mag, the gun will lock open, which is kind of different. I was not expecting that. I didn't even expect it to run the Hex Mag, let alone do something cool. So let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, standard GI Mag. Actually, this is an enhanced GI Mag. These are the ones that I suggest everybody buy. It's an aluminum magazine with the Magpul enhanced follower in it. So, and let's see, what do we got down there? That target fell over. We'll just do this guy again. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see if we can't get some fireball here today. We'll shoot the 50 cal steel over there that's been chewed to heck. Here we go. Ejection pattern is very far forward, which is okay. Most AKs are overgassed anyway. So, cool. Now, what I'm going to do now is we'll run a little bit more, but what I wanted to do when I came out here today was get this thing nice and worked, because you can see that Ackless, when they did this, when they Cerakoted the gun, the internals are Cerakoted as well. And the whole purpose of me coming out here today, in addition to function checking the firearm, is to lap all those surfaces clear of Cerakote. One, to make sure that the thing continues to function properly, and two, I need those surfaces clear for the test that we're going to be conducting, hopefully very, very soon. Maybe even the next video, we'll see. And the reason we're going for that is some of the testing that we've seen come through with the interaction between the bolt and the trunnion on various guns. There's just not been a really good way, except for I saw one test, I believe it was with Tim and Rob Ski from the AK Operators Union. They took a cleaning rod and stuck it through and was able to push on a bolt that was in the proper conformation. When locked up, they were able to push on it and show some of the wobble, but I think I got a better way to do that. Who knows, maybe we'll even see that adopted by them as well. But we're gonna run one more magazine. Here we go. Thank you guys for joining the VSO Gun Channel here today when we're checking out this upgrade on the M85 MP.